What's up, guys? Wes Pruitt. You're inside the Sports Buffet, Friday night edition. Got John Sturdivant in the house as well. And welcome to the show. Hope everybody's doing well this Friday night. Appreciate everybody watching and listening on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter as well. Man, it's a jam-packed show. So, John, let's get it started, man. It's time for a little appetizer. And with that, we got the burning question of the show. John, this is a question that it's really kind of interesting because college football playoffs coming up, right? Well, there's also an expansion. So my question is this: which two teams will make a surprise entry into the college football playoff? I'll let you go first.
A lot of people are talking about like how many teams out of the Big 12 might make it. I still think there might be a gut feeling there might be still one team out of the Big 12 taking it into that 12-team playoff. And I'm going to go with a dark horse in Utah for the Big 12. It's not prime time. Sorry, no Colorado this year, Colorado fans. But Utah will probably be. I know Utah is just going to be a tough place to play at again. You got the head coaching staff still sticking together, and you know as much as I do, they always have a dual threat quarterback that can make you beat you on the run and throwing the football. So for like 200 yards passing, maybe like 100 on the ground as well. So Utah might be a surprise this year in the Big 12, in my opinion, that could maybe make the playoffs, maybe as a dark horse as the one Big 12 team, maybe this year, especially when Texas and Oklahoma are moving on to the SEC. Let's do another one. I'm going to go with another. Well, I'm going to steal yours, so you can, I'll go with. It's not going to be a surprise per se, but I'll definitely go with Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin. Just because I think it's not going to be a surprise, is because they got some tough teams coming to their place in Oxford this year. They got Georgia traveling to Oxford, and they got other teams coming to Oxford that are key on their schedule that they can actually protect Ron Hemingway and maybe make that playoff. It's not going to be a surprise, but a lot of people are saying this is the year that Jackson Dart and company should make some dangerous noise. Because Jackson, this is like, what, year 2 or year 3 now under Lane Kiffin's offense?
Man, I feel like that guy's been in college for like 10 years.
So I'm going to go with Ole Miss and Utah. I think Ole Miss is going to make some noise. I think Ole Miss, this is the year that they can win 10 games or 11 games, surprise some people.
I agree on Ole Miss, and they were actually almost one of my second teams. Man, I'm going to start with a team that's people may scoff at, but I feel like it's there. Virginia Tech. Brent Fry and company, head coach Brent Fry and company. When you look at them from last year's perspective, John, they started out 1-3, which was terrible. They ended up finishing the season 7-6. They brought in Tyrone Drones, quarterback, dual threat guy. Ended up being one of the best running quarterbacks in the country. Had 818 yards last year with 5 touchdowns. The offense improved, and then you got a top 25 defense right there behind it, man. And it really makes for this team to be very intriguing to me. The Hokies and Virginia Tech, they're going back with the Michael Vick jerseys too. I love that. I think they're kind of embracing their past a little bit, and that's very smart. But, man, when you look at it, they got a pretty favorable schedule too if you want to take their schedule out. But, I mean, if Drones can keep his trajectory going from what he did last year, then you get the offensive line that steps up and improves from last year. And I think Virginia Tech could be a team to really look out for. Now, it may take some help, but it's going to take some help for anybody to get to the college football playoff, right? Besides some of the big name schools. But a Virginia Tech team, man, keep an eye out for them for sure next football season. And then, man, I mean, I got to –
Can Virginia Tech overly Clemson? You talking about?
Yeah, I'm serious. Like, I really do think Virginia Tech is a team to keep an eye on. Offense improved last year. Like I said, they started out 1-3 and finished 7-6.
Yeah,
that's 6-3 record. I mean, that's pretty good. Um,
Key game on our
so
schedule, yeah, the key game on our schedule is at the Old Dominion. That's non-conference because the Old Dominion always gives ACC teams troubles.
yeah,
And you brought up they can only go out to the West Coast one time, and that's at Stanford.
right.
So that's a good thing for the ACC schedule in year one with Stanford, Cal, and SMU coming in. And then, of course, you never really know what could happen down in the Miami U area. They go down to Virginia Tech and play Miami.
And Miami's another team that's really intriguing too. There's a lot of talent there. There's a lot of teams. I mean, Texas A&M's another one. You got all that talent that Jimbo brought in. And you got Mike Elko coming in now. But I mean, I think, and I mean, you call me a homer or whatever, I don't care. I got to go with Memphis, man. When you look at Memphis and the American right now, you've got what people are thinking Tulane is going to drop off. Like we talked to Jonah Dillon last week. Um, Tulane's still going to be a threat. They still got a talented quarterback. They still got a talented roster, and they got a really talented coach that came over from Troy, John Summerall. But I mean, you look at Memphis last year. The three losses: Missouri, Tulane, SMU, 21 combined points.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously you got Seth Hennigan back. Seth Hennigan, if he throws for, I believe it's 20, or if he continues his trajectory of throwing for more than 30 yards or 30 touchdowns a season, he'll finish roughly around the number 5 quarterback all time for touchdown passes thrown in college football at Memphis. I mean, that's extremely impressive. But I mean, then you look and you've got Memphis brings back the 26th most returning production in FBS. That includes obviously Seth Hennigan. You've got, and let's not forget, Seth Hennigan turned down interest from other programs around the country. But let's not forget that part. That's very important. As did offensive coordinator Tim Crampton. So Memphis being able to keep those programs together. Of course, we'll get more into them later on when we get into college football. But I think the schedule somewhat lines up, man. I mean, obviously the Florida State trip's tough. I don't think South Florida is an easy place to play. UTSA is not an easy place to play, and as we know, Tulane's difficult. Yeah, man, I think that 11 wins probably gets Memphis into the college football playoff. Could be wrong, but it's kind of what I think.
What do you think about another non-power 5, like other than Memphis, like you just brought up? Who do you think that could maybe surprise somebody in that one?
I mean, I think you got to keep an eye on Liberty again. Jamie Chadwell, the job he does there, you got to keep an eye on Liberty. Tulane is another one that I think could, very well be there. Boise State's another team to keep an eye on. Boise State's not a bad football program at all. I mean, I think the main ones that everybody's talking about right now is Memphis, Liberty, Tulane.
Some people are
I don't know
saying
what you can say, man. They lost their Harris, their quarterback.
Yeah.
I really don't know. But I mean, I think Memphis is probably your front runner, as they should be, I think. I think they're the most talented team in the American. And one thing that I figured out last year about Silverfield is if you're a first-time head coach, you're in this conference, he wants to win that football game.
Right.
So he wants to welcome you to the conference.
AKA Trent Differ.
Yeah, exactly. Per se. But yeah, man, no, I think that this college football season is going to be a lot of fun. This college football season is going to be exciting. You've got a college football playoff. You've got a college football playoff that is expanding, and we haven't even seen the first edition.
Right.
So there's a lot going on. But John, let's jump over to the main course. Let's get into the main course of the show, and let's start with some NBA Finals talk. So, John, last night we would see the Boston Celtics absolutely just decimate the Dallas Mavericks. 107 to 89. Boston's incredible, man. I mean, they really are. Kristaps Porzingis came in, played really well. Both ends, John, for him last night. 11 points, 3 blocks. One was a just nasty rundown block on what was the guy's name? Green, Josh Green.
Right.
But man, yeah, I mean, Porzingis looked really, really good. Al Horford would say after the game, I was pleasantly surprised at how good he looked. That's coming from Al Horford. And I feel like Al Horford has he not been with Boston for like 20 years? I swear this guy was on their Kevin Garnett championship. Maybe what? I feel like
Well, I think he was with the Hawks back then, but at least 10 years or so, it feels like.
yeah, but I mean, definitely. I mean, the Celtics stay dominant, man. But one thing that they did that I really was impressed with is they made Luka Doncic really one-dimensional. They made him. They shut him down. You know what I mean? They made everybody else around him make shots that are contested. So, and then they drained threes. The most threes they had made. They missed 5 straight on a single possession, but then they came back and the team's been averaging roughly 43s a game throughout the playoffs. And last night they shot 42.
Yeah, Boston shot 16 of 42 from the three. Absolutely. That's like 39% almost, I believe it is. It's actually 38%, close enough. But still, like you brought up, to me, the key factor in this series is going to be PJ Washington, for the Dallas Mavs. If he can score his 20 points or more, like he's been doing game in, game out, and Kyrie still gets his 20 plus, and Luka gets his 20 plus, and PJ gets his 20. I think the Dallas Mavs can maybe keep this a series. Other than people are now saying that Boston could probably win this in 5 or 6, which I'm not saying that's going to happen out of the woods still. But if you still have a PJ Washington only score 14 points for Dallas like he did last night, this could be very well a short series for Dallas and the Dallas fan base. And like, this is another thing for the Cowboys again. But, I'm just talking about in general because the Cowboys team don't get over the hump. But the Mavs, so far, only 89 points to playing in Boston in a historic arena, hostile environment. Down 37-20 right after that first quarter, man. Like, they came out flat, in other words. But they were down by 2 at one point. And the next thing you know, Boston puts it back up to 20. That's just how much Gordon Brown and Jason Tatum can kill you, not only on the 3-point ball, but also from the 2-point shots and whatnot. But also key, like you brought up, it's good to see Porzingis back for Boston Celtics after that 30 games absence or whatever, it seems. Yeah. But that's the X factor in that series as well. You got to keep him off the offensive glass. Then you also got to keep him off the paint. But, yeah, I think Game 2 is going to be interesting. I think Dallas is going to win Game 2 in my gut feeling because I want an interesting series. I really do. And also, I'm kind of surprised you don't see more of a weekend schedule with the NBA Finals trying to compete with the Stanley Cup now, in other words, too.
Well, the problem with the Stanley Cup, and we're going to talk about that next week, but the problem with the Stanley Cup is you got one team in Toronto, they're flying all the way across the United States to get to each other. So, which is, I think it's pretty cool. It's especially when we're going to talk about college baseball in a minute, but you look at a lot of regional games that, after COVID, I get it. You got to be, you want to be smarter with the travel. You look at minor league baseball, it's the same way. Unless you get into like some low A, high A crap. But for the most part, it's all pretty well regional. But what else Boston did last night, man, is they really shut down the Dallas Bigs. When you look at Derek Lively II and Daniel Gafford, they have both been really, really, really good. Lively was averaging double-double throughout the playoffs. And then you go last night, they completely silenced them. They completely shut them down. Gafford would say after the game, this is something that we can learn from. He said, also playing in his first finals, he said, we each got to come out and play better the second game. But like I said, you talk about that defense on Luka, defense on Irving as well, and then Boston's going to be tough to beat. That's just all there is to it. We talked about it earlier in the playoffs. I really thought Denver was the best team. And after really sitting down and watching it, I think Boston is probably the best team. Taking nothing from Dallas. Dallas is really, really good. Mm-hmm. And I think honestly, this goes 7. I think this series goes 7 games, if not 6 or 7. Because I don't think that Dallas just lays down. You know what I mean?
You know who does not get enough credit with the Boston Celtics?
Who?
Brad Stevens. I know he's not the head
100%.
coach. I know he's not the head coaching no more, but still, he does he drafts the right people in the NBA draft.
Yeah.
You know, the last couple of years when he's been the executive slash president, it seems now with the Boston Celtics. A lot of people don't really give him enough credit because him and Billy Donovan are the only two right now that are winning coaches. It seems like in the NBA playoffs
Yeah.
or NBA playoffs in general. You know, with a winning record. So Brad Stevens, you know, he deserves a lot of credit in the Boston Celtics office as well.
100%. 100%. All right, man. You know, it's the buffet, so it's a little bit of everything. So we're gonna jump over to the Women's College World Series. We spoke with Stephanie Prothero Wednesday night. Man, incredible interview. If you haven't listened to it, head over to fourstar.live now. Click on the interview. The first 20 minutes of that is really almost me kind of waiting on her to come on in a sense. But no, I mean, she was an amazing guest. Appreciate her coming on, and hopefully we can, you know, there's potential that we'll be doing much more with the softball program there at Memphis too. So keep an eye out for that down the road. But John, College World Series last night, we saw history get made. Oklahoma four-peated. So crazy. Pat Gasso would say after the game, this was the hardest of all. She was being interviewed by ESPN. She said, quote, "This was the hardest of all. Without question," Gasso said. "It's going to probably be the most remembered for just the magnitude of what these guys have done. It's unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable." But they got a 8-3 win on Wednesday. And then they followed it up. They rallied back to win 8-4 last night to take down number one seeded Texas. Now these two teams are heading over to the SEC. It's official, done. They're no longer in the Big 12. I think this changes the entire landscape of college football, in all honesty, because you're looking at an SEC conference that every team got in. But then now you throw two more teams there. That's what, 16 teams, 15 teams, whatever. I mean, it's crazy. And I mean, honestly, man, every single team in the SEC watched those games without a doubt. They had to, because I mean, this is the cream of the crop right here when it comes to softball. And I think that Texas may be the future of softball. You may see them in the College World Series a lot more, and they got a legendary softball coach, so it's not shocking. But big time win, man. Big time win for Oklahoma. Shout out to them. 4 straight. The national championship gives Oklahoma its 8th title, John, which ties them, Arizona, for second most in NCAA history besides UCLA's 12. It's been a dominance for the Sooners in Oklahoma City. What's your thoughts on this Oklahoma literally dynasty?
Before I talk about Oklahoma, I want to give a lot of credit to the ESPN crew regarding these College World Series this year. You know, they did a heck of a job from Jessica Mendoza to Beth Mullins to Holly Rowe on the side or on the field doing interviews. They don't get enough credit as they should either, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, I want a male perspective on softball at times," but I'm like, "No, we're okay where we're at because you got an Olympic gold medal winner in Jessica Mendoza, and you got Beth Mullins, who's been around, God, 20 plus years as well. You got Holly Rowe on the sideline that does numerous sports for the women's and the men's sports. So great job for the ESPN crew for the last couple of days, especially in that rain delay that they've had. You know, 4 hours for a game as well, and then they're going to figure out what to do. And then, of course, you know, they got the game notes ready for like the if necessary game on the same day and all that. Then they find out it's pushed back to the day after, which they can still use the same notes for, you know, whatnot. But credit to them for a great job on the telecast, year in, year out. Great job by ESPN by putting them together again. But yeah, dynasty mode for Oklahoma 4-peat. I gotta admit, I'm wrong. I had Texas winning in 3 games. I really thought Oklahoma pitching, to be honest with you, other than their ace that came from Oklahoma State, which she got a lot of criticism for, early on in the season for. But I thought Oklahoma bullpen might be a little bit shaky right after that because they've been shaky all regional and World Series because Florida went. You gotta remember, Florida had Oklahoma beat. And then Oklahoma just rallied and rallied and rallied and dynasty mode, and this young talent is producing at the right time for Oklahoma.
100%.
And it's just something to look forward to, not only down the road in the SEC, but also on the national stage, because this is pretty much an Oklahoma team that won it's not the same team, but it's the same coaching staff, whatnot. That won 52 games in a row at one point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Florida snapped their 20-game World Series consecutive win streak. I mean, as far as games.
Right. So credit to Oklahoma with young talent, with pitching, to hitting the ball. I really thought, like I said, I had Texas winning in 3 because I really thought they would jump on the bullpen for Oklahoma. And I gotta admit, like you brought up, Coach White, a legend coach from Oregon, now at Texas, who basically won 50 plus games this year at Texas. And I'm looking forward. I'm not going to say I'm a homer for this, but I'm looking forward to the SEC next year with all these teams competing against each other on a daily basis. Now it's gonna be fun because now you got Texas and Oklahoma, 2 great teams coming into your backyard in Oxford and to Knoxville to where all over you're gonna see middle school and high school kids look up to more girls on both sides of the field, and it's gonna be fun to watch.
Oh, it's going to be a blast, man. It's going to be wild for sure. Speaking of wild, you took a little trip out to Colorado, man. So let's talk a little bit about your trip out to see the Rockies.
Man, I'm back in the community for one thing.
Right.
Where
Now the altitude.
yeah, where there's only 10 to 20% humidity back out in Denver. But yeah, just got this Monday night. It all started. Well, I flew in Sunday afternoon, and hanged out with some family members down there in Colorado. But Monday night, got to see the Rockies play the Reds. Got to see a former or a guest that we had, Hunter Goodman, on back, with the Rockies. He's only 24 years old. He hasn't played really that much this year. He's only batting 180 now after the Red Series. But hey, man, he's in the majors. He's living his dream.
Yeah.
Producing at the high level right now, and on top of that, he gets to see players that he looked up to growing up. And right now, he might have had the stats, but he's doing his very best because he's only playing so often. He's only playing every third or fourth game right now too.
Right.
Yeah, Monday night got to see De La Cruz, shortstop for the Cincinnati Reds that everybody's been talking about for years now, and it's pretty cool because De La Cruz first at bat actually was a fly ball to Hunter Goodman in right field. So that was pretty cool to see. And then Hunter Goodman's first at bat also went to De La Cruz, and I thought Hunter beat it out at first base, but it was kind of hard to tell where I was sitting because I was on the third baseline about a couple rows behind the dugout. But yeah, they announced 27,000 people there. They had maybe a few thousand Red fans because hey, the Cincinnati Reds still support their team no matter wherever they go. It's just like the Dallas Cowboys. You see Dallas Cowboy fans,
Yeah.
in other stadiums. Monday night, yeah, so I got to see that Monday night. Tuesday took a day off because they had another Tuesday night game. Then I went back Wednesday afternoon for another game where they announced 28,000 or no, wait, 25,000. I apologize for that. But still, you got to see De La Cruz. You got to see a former Memphis Tiger in Sam Mall go out in that one inning. So that was pretty cool to see. Hunter didn't play that game, but it's okay because you got a lot of players like Charlie Blackmon playing multiple positions now at DH, who's been there for 30 plus years as well, it seems.
Yeah.
And then he played right. But yeah, Wednesday afternoon was a great atmosphere. Got to sit behind home plate, maybe about 15 or 20 rows back. I was in the shade, so that was pretty good because that was the warmest day of the road trip. And then now they're in St. Louis. So definitely, that's pretty cool to see that you get to see a team
Yeah.
You know, kind of enjoyed growing up. Coors Field by far, to me, is one of the best stadiums out there because you get the Rocky Mountains in left field. You can see during the sunset to just a beautiful atmosphere to eating a hot dog and fries for like $14. Um, just a cool atmosphere, and it's a stadium that I enjoyed growing up, going to, and I'm definitely gonna try to catch some more games in the near future. You know, out to the Rockies, and hopefully Hunter Goodman will see in that purple, white, and black uniform
Yeah.
for the Colorado Rockies soon. But
All right,
yeah,
man. Go ahead.
go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I have a couple questions for you.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite part of the trip?
Other than seeing family, I'll have to say seeing De La Cruz in person. You know, I haven't got a chance to see him in person as of being a baseball fan. You know, seeing De La Cruz and seeing how fast he actually is around those bases. You know, a lot of people saying he has the fastest 60 like time around the bases, which is accurate because he's pretty fast. And of course, to see Hunter Goodman, just to see like what he's been doing, like I brought up at 24 years old, man, like he's achieved his goal. He's playing in the majors, playing against teams like the Dodgers, like the Reds. Now he's in St. Louis playing against the Cardinals. And just him enjoying, like I talked to him after the game and saying, "Hey man, how'd you like Dodger Stadium?" He's like, "Man, that was my first ever time going to Dodger Stadium." Just to
Yeah.
hear some different stories regarding different, stories on different backgrounds. And then of course, shout out to Denver Biscuit Company also. So if anybody wants to go eat a big biscuit for Denver Biscuit Company, I'm sure you saw the photo, but
Oh
those
yeah.
biscuits are huge. So yeah,
Yeah. Massive.
good food and good atmosphere for baseball.
Yeah. So let me ask you last question on this point.
Yeah.
So did watching the MLB live in person, does it give you a better appreciation for just how talented those guys really are?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know Coors Field is not the same like it used to be when they had the Todd Helton and Vinny Castilla and Andres Galarraga days,
Yeah.
but still, you get to see. I know a lot of Rockies fans are going to hate me for this right now, but you still get to see Chris Bryant. For the Rockies, I know he's on the
Yeah.
injured list right now, but you still get to see a quality player in Chris Bryant. So you get year in year out. Heck, right now you can't beat the price on tickets right now for the Major League Baseball either. So if you can afford it and make a weekend out of it, please go out and enjoy your Major League Baseball teams because you never know when somebody's going to get traded or being released down to AAA. So
Yeah.
try to catch any game when you can. That's one reason I made a trip out to Denver to go see Hunter.
Yeah. And I mean, while you're there, just put in if you use SeatGeek while you're there, just put in 4 Star Sports Media, and we'll save you $20 off that ticket price. Don't believe me? Try.
Good promo right there.
Thank you.
To you.
That was a great segue. All right, so up next, man, let's talk a little college baseball. We're going to end the show on some college athletics, college baseball first. So we got some super regionals. We got a Knoxville super regional. You've got Tallahassee. You've got Chapel Hill. You've got Lexington. You've got Athens, Clemson, and College Station.
Mm-hmm.
Today, Tennessee in the Knoxville region will win 11-6 over Evansville. They play again tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. ESPN2. In the Tallahassee regional, we would see an absolute shellacking by Florida State, 24-4 over UConn. They play, just terrible. Yeah, they play tomorrow, ESPN 11 a.m. So let's stop there. First question on this: do you believe there should be a run rule in the NCAA
tournament? I think so. I'm not saying it's a bad thing or a good thing, but it's just due to healthy of the players for one thing. Because you never really want to see a player when you're losing by 20 runs after 7 innings get hurt.
Yeah, that's true.
Heck, you see it during the regular season. You see run rules all the time now, and I look at it from like an injury perspective. That's the only reason I would say I think you deserve to have a run rule in the super regionals, especially when you're up by 20, like Florida State was. going into like the top of the ninth or top of the eighth or whatever it was when they scored like 15 more runs in like one inning. It felt like.
Yeah.
Is it slowly
So in
growing?
the Charlottesville regional, you've got number 12 Virginia versus Kansas State. Kansas State came out of the Fayetteville region.
Mm-hmm.
You have a score update on that game by chance?
Yeah, we got 3-2. The Kansas State Wildcats. To me, a team that can maybe beat a Virginia team 2 out of 3, but it's not going to come easy because Virginia is always a tough place to play at. But and they always got the pitching and hitting as well. That's one of the best regionals out there as well in that super regional. Yeah, Kansas State's up 3-2, bottom 6, and you saw them in Fayetteville where they basically can hit the ball and pitch the ball. And right now, they're doing pretty well in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Yeah. Up next, we got the Chapel Hill regional where number 4 North Carolina is taking on West Virginia. Do you have a score update on that, by chance?
Yeah, 6-5, West Virginia over North Carolina in top of the 9. West Virginia hit 2 home runs, 2-run home runs to make it 6-5 or make have them the 6th run. But yeah, that's another interesting regional where North Carolina, to me, really has the better pitching, but that's a series that can go either way because West Virginia showed how much dangerous they can be in the Big 12 this year.
Well, and then what I love is it's baseball. Yeah, Florida State, who scored 24 runs today, could very well come out tomorrow and score 2.
Right.
I mean, that's how it happens. So that's all the games for today. Then tomorrow, you've got the Lexington Super Regional where Kentucky plays Oregon State. That's at 6 p.m. tomorrow night. The Athens Super Regional, first game is at noon tomorrow between number 7 Georgia and NC State. That's a very, very interesting game. Clemson in Florida, another one. Keep an eye on that one. First game is tomorrow, 2 p.m. on ESPN. The Georgia NC State game is on ESPN, by the way. And then the College Station region, Texas A&M versus Oregon's 2 p.m. tomorrow on ESPN2. And that's another very interesting region.
Yeah, absolutely. All those times are Eastern time, by the way.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, but like you brought up, I'll say this real quick: 10 o'clock Central Time, UConn Florida State rematch. I'm sure Knoxville fans will be partying all night, no matter what, because the NCAA did not do Tennessee and Evansville no favor. They got that early start at 11 o'clock Eastern Time tomorrow on ESPN2, but Tennessee will probably be partying all night, no matter what. So, like you brought up, North Carolina State, Georgia. I think Florida State beats UConn tomorrow. I think Tennessee beats Evansville. I think I'm going North Carolina State in 3 over Georgia. I'll do my picks right now. Florida and Clemson is going to be an interesting series, and I'll do Clemson over Florida in 3. I think A&M Oregon matchup could be a 3-game series, but my gut feeling right now, I'm just going to go with A&M over Oregon just because the hostile environment down in College Station and plus the heat down in Texas. So that's one reason I've got Texas A&M or Oregon in 2. If Kansas State and Virginia do play and Kansas State does prevail, I think Virginia can probably win those games at home. But it's going to be tough after game 1, in my opinion. So I'll go with Virginia in 3 in that one. And I'll do Oregon State over Kentucky as my other upset. Just because Oregon State, it's Oregon State in 3. It's not going to be Oregon State in 2, but I think Pac-12 this year, a lot of people are not giving them credit for because, Arizona might have won
Pac-2 or the 2-pack.
Pac-2 now, but still, I'm talking about like in general. I think Oregon State, just because they've been there before, you're in, the Omaha before. I think that's one reason I think they can beat Kentucky. And then I'll go with North Carolina in 3 over West Virginia.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Tennessee wins, Florida State wins. Give me Kansas State to win twice, first 2 games. West Virginia, North Carolina. Give me North Carolina. I think it's going to be very difficult. I think Kentucky wins. I agree with you. I think NC State gets out of Georgia. I think Florida beats Clemson, and I think Texas A&M takes the first 2 games and moves on.
Why do you got Florida over Clemson? Just because they're playing hot?
They are, man. They're playing hot, and as we've seen, I mean, it's not an SEC West team, but I mean, you got look at Ole Miss, Mississippi State, LSU. They all had pitching. They all had power. They all had timely hitting. They could score guys with runners in scoring position. All these teams have done that, and Florida is just fitting right into that same mantra that all these last three teams have had. Texas A&M is another one. But I got it, man. Florida, to me, Florida is on a hot streak. They're rolling. Kevin Sullivan's an incredible baseball coach. I just think that Florida is a team to definitely look out.
I had Clemson because it's at Clemson.
Yeah,
It was really tough, but yeah, Clemson's tough at home. And I think the ACC this year was one of the toughest conferences out there.
yeah, 100%. All right, man. Let's dive into a topic that I am pumped up to get into, and it's just now getting started. The football season is creeping up on us. It's time to get into some college football. Let's start with some national talk, John. I got 3 questions for you.
Okay.
First question is this. How do you think Alabama looks in year 1 of post-Saban?
Ooh. Let's put their schedule real quick. I think the quarterback is going to be the main question down in Tuscaloosa. That's why I'm going to basically say it's not going to be a down year. But right now, I'm going to go with, by looking at the schedule, but not going by game, whatever. I could see maybe a 9-win Alabama team right now. Just because, one, you play at Wisconsin, you get Georgia at home, but the Wisconsin game is at 11 a.m.
Yep.
At Tennessee, Josh Heupel and the offense in Tennessee this year might surprise some people because they don't have to worry about Milton at quarterback right now, and they play at LSU and at Oklahoma. So right now I'm gonna go with just not game by game or whatever. But on the top of my head, I say a 9-win season for Alabama kind of looks okay for year 1.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I'm right there with you. 9-10 wins, which obviously to a lot of Bama fans is just the end of the world. To the rest of the nation, it's a great season.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that. That's the expectation. I understand. But I think it's just going to look different. It's not going to look like a Saban team, and that's what's going to be very interesting to see how all this works and how Kellen DeBoer fits into the SEC. How does his philosophy fit into the SEC? It's going to be very, 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 very fun to watch. And you talked about a team earlier that I think is a team to look out for. That's all. Lane Kiffin is Lane Kiffin. He's going to have a high-powered offense. You're going to be very, very popcorn, as he said. At one time against Saban, but can they get over that hump? Can they make that jump to the next step, which would be SEC championship, big time? Like I said, I think it just looks different. It's not Saban. It just looks different. But I think that's good. That's good for the sport. It's good for Alabama. It's good for college football. It's good for the fans of college football. I mean, now we're going to see Saban on game day, but still good for the fans of college football because, you know what I mean? Like to me personally, it's good. Second question, John, you ready?
Yep, go ahead.
Does Florida State continue to climb?
When you say continue to climb, you talking about like the same 10, 11 win season, or are you talking about like
Well, I mean that or playoff.
Oh man, I'm still on the fence about their quarterback position. Although a lot of people are saying that, forgive me,
DJU?
I can't. Yeah, him. I can't say his last name, so forgive me. But for one thing, I do want to say it is not Mike Norvell's fault or Florida State's fault for everybody entering the portal last year. To me, they still deserve to be that top 4 spot. but it's not Brock Lynn's fault that he was a true freshman. That was his first game in the ACC championship game.
Right.
That type of stuff. But yeah, I think, to be honest with you, I think Coach Norvell, hey, got a good schedule early on. They get to go to Dublin, Ireland, and play Georgia Tech in Dublin. Then they play Boston College at home. Then they have a bye week before they play Memphis. They got Cal at home, at SMU, home for Clemson, at Duke, at Miami, home for North Carolina, and then at Notre Dame. But I still think Norvell and them could win 10 games this year.
Yeah.
But I won't be surprised if Memphis does go in there and beat them.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Memphis here in just a minute. Yeah, I think DJ Uiagalelei, DJU as the rest of the nation calls him, but I think that we know he's talented. He can sling it. Looking at their spring game, he looked pretty good. They're talented. They got speed. All of Louisville's teams have speed. I think 10 wins. Yeah, 9-10. Yeah. And I think they can, 10 wins for them, maybe even gets them into the playoff. That's another team. It's, what are you going to get? But the other thing is can you get it every week? Or is there going to be games like last year that just you eat by? I understand it's college football. There's going to be those. I get it. But last question is this, John. Will Michigan repeat?
No.
Thank you. Exactly. I agree. I don't think they do. I think they're still good. I think they have a chance to possibly make the playoff. I think they're that good. I don't think they win the whole thing, personally.
I just think, to be honest with you, a lot of people, are going to miss Harbaugh on those sidelines, and I really do think you're going to miss the 1-2 punch, J.J. McCartney and their running back they had last year with the 1-2 punch.
Yeah. Blake Corum.
Yeah, which to me, I think Blake Corum should have been drafted a little bit higher than he did, first of all. And I also think J.J. McCartney is going to be a good NFL quarterback at Minnesota. Justin Jefferson is going to make him a whole bunch better in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree.
NFL right now. I don't think Michigan wins it all. I really don't. I think they got a tough schedule again, and I really do think they're going to miss Harbaugh on those sidelines. And do not be surprised. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I won't be surprised if Southern Cal goes into Ann Arbor and beats Michigan this year. It might be like a high-scoring affair, but I'm going to say don't be surprised if Southern Cal beats Michigan because you don't have
Harbaugh. It is June 7th. This man is giving out picks.
No, I'm not giving out picks. I'm just saying in general because look at it. Lincoln Riley did a great hire in the offseason.
Yeah.
Anthony Jones, the former Memphis running back, running back coach at TCU, he's under Lincoln Riley now. And I think it's a splash factor, one of the greatest coaching hires in the offseason for Southern Cal to bring Anthony Jones in because now you can have a 1-2 punch in Lincoln Riley and Anthony Jones due to a lot of credit behind the scenes for Southern Cal. And I think that's what Southern Cal's been missing. You don't see two great coaches for Southern Cal in years past that from the X's and O's point of view. You got the same Southern Cal team that might give up 50 points, but he will still score a lot of points on you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Speaking of Memphis guys, Coach Locke, now at Ohio State. Incredible hire. Right. Incredible hire. But speaking of Memphis football, let's start talking a little bit of Tigers, man. Obviously, really fun season last year, 10 wins, 5th time in program history for that to happen. Ryan Silverfield clapped back at some fans last year. I freaking loved it. This team is local. We've talked about it. If you go to fourstar.live, there's numerous articles already out about these guys. Got an AutoZone Liberty Bowl win. Personally, I feel like it's the biggest win in program history, bowl-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, 10 wins last year. Huge, huge win. I personally think they can do it again. I talked about it earlier. We talked about teams that could make a surprise entry into the college football playoff. And obviously, John, it starts with, I still call him the kid, but Seth Hennigan. Incredible quarterback. Like I said earlier, he throws for another 25, 30 touchdowns. So finish right around fifth all time in passing touchdowns as a quarterback in college football. I think he's going to be a first-round draft pick. That's just what I feel. I think he's that talented. But, I mean, he's already the all-time passing leader. But, I mean, John, when you look at Seth, when you think back, the only reason he started playing quarterback was because Grant Gunnell got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to do this. I mean, I know it's not fun. What if? You know what I mean? Like, what if Grant doesn't get hurt? Then is Seth still here? I don't know. I mean, obviously no one does because Grant got hurt. But like I said earlier in the show, I'll say it again now. The relationship between Tim Cramsey and Seth Hennigan is unbelievably strong. And I say that to say that both of them had offers to go other places. And they're still in Memphis. The camaraderie is built. I mean, Silverfield had to bring in some new pieces to his staff. But you look at the job that defensive coordinator Jordan Hankins did.
Mm-hmm.
The bowl game, 0 yards rushing, incredible. Gave up. Now, he did give up 400 something yards passing still. But you look at the job that he did, the way that defense was flying around. Look at the job Tim Cramsey. I think Tim Cramsey is one of the best hires Memphis has ever made. Honestly, I mean, the portal, you just keep reloading with players, and he just continues to get this offense rolling. But Seth's got a lot of talent around him. Speaking of Tim Cramsey made a comment in a press conference a while back that he was talking about Henny. He said he has never given any player as much control of the offense to be able to make checks, change plays, whatever, than he has Seth. I mean, go back. I mean, he was at Marshall. There were some talented players at Marshall. You can go look at his career. You can go to Wiki, check him out on Wikipedia. Tim Cramsey is an incredible hire. An incredible. Thank you to everybody right now watching and listening on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We got Jeff Vincent said, "What up? What's up, man? We appreciate you watching and listening." Talking a little Tiger football right now as we close out the Sports Buffet on this Friday night. But John, you look at this team. We start with Hennigan. Then let's go to the backfield. Okay, you got one of my favorite Tigers, maybe ever, Brandon Thomas. Young man, 2 years ago was top 5 running back in the country 2-3 weeks into the season, and then he got hurt. Was not really 100%, I guess, last year. But from what I've been told through numerous people, that he's looking very strong for this season. Then you've got Sutton Smith. But then you go in the portal, and Silverfield goes and gets South Carolina's leading rusher in Mario Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
Who gets the ball in the backfield? Like, this is a great problem to have because they all are kind of different in their own ways. And then you got Makari Bonford, the freshman. I mean, it's loaded, man.
Yeah, it's going to remind me of the Jonathan Stewart, D'Angelo Williams days from the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
That's how it's going to remind me of it. But, yeah. First of all, like you brought up Tim Cramsey, at first I'm like, okay, we hired a guy from Marshall. Looking at his stats, yeah, he threw over 400 yards a game at Marshall. Whatnot. I'm like, okay, give him about a few years at Memphis and see how he does. And a lot of people, of course, when did Tim Cramsey gone after year 1? And I was like, no, let's just give him another year and see what happens, that type of stuff, and go from there. And it just shows how much Seth has progressed, got better, not only after year 1 under Cramsey, but year 2 and now year 3, and et cetera. And I'm really thinking that this is going to be a breakout year for Seth in the offense because, you brought up a lot more other weapons, but a lot of people have not talked about this one really that much. And we also picked up a receiver from North Texas, the leading receiver from North Texas, who had like 12 touchdowns a couple of years ago for North Texas. And I really think that is going to help Seth as well at the receiving core as well because we picked up a big transfer in that one as well who had multiple offers from big D1 schools as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you straight up, Cramsey has got a lot better over the last couple of games and the last couple of years. Um, Hopefully, our just receivers will catch the ball at the right time, still like they've been doing, and not
Yeah.
drop passes. But yeah, this year's gonna be fun on the offense. No reason for I think us to win 10 games, but like you brought up, your tough games are on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a non-conference game against Florida State, but like you said, this is gonna be an improved South Florida bunch because the game's at South Florida. You're playing on an NFL stadium. Some players never been on an NFL stadium or even an NFL stadium before. So you got to see, they're going to play South Florida at South Florida. But like you brought up at UTSA, heck, at Navy, right before Florida State, and that at Tulane on Thanksgiving. Of course,
Yeah.
taking place at the Egg Bowl this year, on ESPN.
Which I love. I love that time.
But still, 6:30 on Thanksgiving night down in New Orleans on Black Friday / get ready for Black Friday / Thanksgiving on Thursday night down in. I'm sure the students will be going home for Thanksgiving in that one, because
I know where my parents are for Thanksgiving this year. I've already been told.
But darn well the students down in New Orleans will not go home for Thanksgiving for that.
No.
They want to show out on ESPN. They want to.
I think that game could very well be a game day.
It's on a Thursday night, so I could, yeah.
But I mean, I think game day could end up being because when you look at the schedule, look at both teams, very well line up that this is two top teams in the country. But when you look at the Memphis team, I mean, like as we talked about offense, but look at it on the defensive side. Chandler Martin's back. You got Tremonte Hamilton's back. The defensive secondary is back. They flew around the ball against Iowa State. Then you go out and you get the leading tackler from Tennessee last year, Elijah.
Mm-hmm.
You get numerous other kids in, bringing a kid from Oklahoma Baptist as well. Very good tackle. John, this defense is just as loaded as the offense.
Yeah, he's gonna be doing a lot of. I got a feeling he's gonna be, or coaching staff in general will be using a lot more rotation because you got a lot of players that have experience on both or on the defense side of football. Not saying it's going to happen like right off the first game or whatever, but it's going to happen maybe a few games into the season because you want to see how other players do at the same position because for future depth chart down the road per se.
Yeah.
And I have to really think like you brought up the linebacker position is loaded. I really think this is going to be a breakout year for Greg Rubin. I really think he's going to learn from his mistakes from last year.
I hope he is. I really do. Because he's talented, man. And, like, he's been – I mean, now that's another guy that I feel like has been in college for 10 years. Like, I feel like he has been on that one side for Memphis defense for, like, 7 seasons. And I'm sure he probably feels like it has been too. But, no, he's very talented. I think Greg is a kid that could be, like you said, have a breakout season. And I would love to see it. I really would. I want to see Sutton Smith have another breakout season.
Right.
I honestly, John, this may be bold. I think Memphis could very well have 2,000-yard rushers, 2,000-yard receivers. Because don't forget about Rock Taylor, Kobe Drake, Demir Blakumsey. Plus, you talk about the kid from North Texas. Plus, Memphis went got the kid from Houston.
Right.
Can take the top off the defense. Very talented. I don't know, man. I mean, I've been watching this team. I mean, you and I have been watching this team a long time. I think this is probably on paper. Let's put it that way. On paper, this team is probably one of the most loaded I've seen this roster be ever. Honestly, I don't know. I think 10, 11 wins is probably where this team's going to be. Vegas has them at what, 9.5 plus, over 9.5.
Right.
So I mean, we're in the same ballpark with Vegas. Not that we have any knowledge of Vegas. But no, I mean this college football season is going to be fun. You got the college football playoff. You've also got the college football video game coming back, John.
Oh yeah, can't wait.
So that sounded very sarcastic.
Well, I can't buy a PS5 yet, but I mean, I can, but
He said, "Oh yeah, can't wait."
well, I can't wait because one, it's been out for like 20 plus years. I mean, it has been out for like 15 years it seems now, but
Yeah, it does.
yeah, but still, I wish I could just see more. Be honest with you, I want to see one double A teams in the game. I really do, man. Like, I want to see the one double A West, the one double A South, the one double A East, that type of stuff in the video
No,
game.
no, no. You'll get that type of stuff in there.
Right,
You
but
just don't. You
right,
just. But I mean, I want to like, man. Why is UT Martin not?
right, or Eastern Kentucky being so
That's what I was about to say. Or East, or all the directional Kentucky, and Michigan. But I feel like there's like 85 directional Michigan.
yeah,
But this game's gonna be a lot of fun. Last game came out was NCAA 14. Now NCAA is being NCAA 24. So it's been 10 years. The graphics, from what I've seen of the gameplay that's been put out, look really good. I know there's going to be a transfer portal in there. I know you can hire and fire your own assistants, which, thank you. I love the coaching carousel, but I hate the fact that I couldn't do anything about it.
right.
Like, oh yeah, who are these guys? Oh, okay, I got that guy. Okay, cool. Let's see how he does. I just think, I mean, I think NIL is going to be part of the game. Speaking of Memphis, I think they've got 8 jersey combinations that I've seen. That's going to be exciting to be able to go through there and make different jersey combinations. I know you can go in and do whiteouts, blackouts, stripe the stadium, stuff like that. Just to being able to hire and fire your own assistants, to me, just gets me excited. I do know the recruiting will be similar to NCAA 14. Also, John, Road to Glory is back. And also in Road to Glory, you're not a high school. You're a 2-star to 5-star. And that's what you pick. And then you pick your school to go play.
Right.
But in that one, there's now kind of like NCAA 06, 07, where you had to take tests. You had to schedule you had to go through every week. You had to take tests, you had to study, you had to work out, you had to go to practice. And this one, just like then, you have to go to practice. You have to play the entire practice. It won't let you sit out. So, but I mean, that obviously, if you're not starter, that's how you move up. You know what I mean? It's during practice. But Road to Glory is going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited about Road to Glory. I'm excited about the game. Just the fact that we're going to have real players' names and real coaches' names. That's cool. I mean, we used to have to download that stuff. Now we don't. It makes it a lot easier. But
I did think
when you look at this game, so John, I got a quick. Go ahead.
You said the coach's name. I think it's gonna be the year after. They're not gonna have it this year. I think it's gonna be next year's video game. Where they're gonna have the coach's name on it. By the way.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I'll just go ahead and end it.
Okay.
I mean, that's what we used to do back in the day for the roster. We used to go get the roster and go make the. But man, when you look at this game, who is a team or a couple teams that you're going to choose to quote rebuild?
Oh. Rebuild. So I'll give you 2 teams, I guess, right now on top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe my first one will be. Gosh, that's a tough one. First one maybe will be like a Middle Tennessee State University, I guess. Just because Derek Mason's their head coach, and then they're always fun to play. I like the jersey combination, like you brought up.
Yeah.
From Memphis, but their jersey combination, the blue on blue when Middle Tennessee wears them, is pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, they're playing a stadium that holds like 20,000 people. You know what? Middle Tennessee is probably one of them. And I'll go with my second one, probably be maybe Arkansas State, maybe.
See, that's, man, Arkansas State was always a team
Yeah.
that once I played whatever, and I wanted to go start another dynasty with some team and rebuild, Arkansas State was always a team I wanted to do. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I think I like their jersey combination.
Right.
At that point in time, I believe Arkansas State was still the Indians. They may have transferred over to the Red Bulls by that point. But Arkansas State's one. Louisiana Monroe is another one that I've always just kind of drawn to. MTSU, you mentioned a great one. That's a great team to go in and rebuild. Now, Idaho's not going to be in the game, so there goes that. I can't go rebuild Idaho again. Then the Kippy Dome, that place is so fun.
Oh, 10,000 people on top of you.
Damn, they're not going to be in the game. I hate. Well, they dropped to Division II.
Right, they'll be there
because they sucked. They were terrible. But like I mean, Bowling Green, you know what I mean? Like just kind of Akron, the Zips. I always like the Zips.
Yeah.
Toledo, the Rockets. But then I always go find, a team in all the big conferences that's not very good. Typically a Vanderbilt. You know what I mean? Like back in the day it was Duke or Wake Forest or something like that. And then always, man, come on, man, you always got to go have fun with it. You always got to go pick like one of the top 5 teams in the nation. Just go obliterate everybody. But I mean, now also, John, I want to tell you this too. The scheduling is pre-built in a sense of if you start out in the American, you don't need to go realign anything or change conferences because your conference games are built 30 seasons out.
Oh, wow.
So the realignment thing's cool, but if you change conferences, your schedule's still going to be, you know what I mean? You're going to go in there and change on it. Yeah. So that's pretty interesting too. There's a lot of things. This game's going to be a lot of fun. When it comes out in July, everybody in the office has pre-ordered this thing. Most folks spend $100 and they can play in 3 days before anybody else can.
Yeah.
I get it. Hey, dude, I can't imagine how many PTO days have been put in this video.
Right. But
there's no telling.
Yeah. Didn't you say the $100 version has the Madden point of view as well, right? Like some of the Madden on part of it.
Yeah, you get the Madden 25 as well with the big time package or whatever. But then, unless you're going to play a lot of online, team builder, that kind of thing, that I don't know that last one's really. Unless you're going to do that, then there's no point in getting that one unless you want Madden to. I'm not spending.
Yeah, another reason I brought up Arkansas State is because they get that waterfall now at the Arkansas State course. That's going to be a video game too, so that'd be pretty cool just to see a waterfall, in Arkansas State. But yeah,
I also know that Vanderbilt's new stadium is going to be in the game. They went and took.
You mean their high school stadium?
Huh?
So you mean their high school stadium?
Yeah. Now, I know that I talked with Brad Pope from the University of Memphis. He said they came and took like over 300 photos of the stadium. All that up to it's going at Simmons Bank. So gotta be careful. Simmons Bank Stadium. But no, man, I'm pumped up for that college football game. God, I can't wait. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
We need a mascot game though in that game too. I know it's gonna not happen this year, but I think it's gonna happen next year. But mascot game, we can play it with the mascots.
Yeah, I'm gonna need them to bring that back. That's gonna be something that we're gonna need back. That's an essential part of this. I would rather you could take the test back and give me the mascot game. That'd be okay.
Right.
I'd be fine.
Doesn't like play with the Florida Gator.
Exactly. Man, John, what a show, dude. Jam-packed from top to bottom. Golly, we went through NBA, we got college softball. You took a trip to Colorado. We talked college baseball, college football. Is there any other shows out there that are talking 5, 6, 7 different sports in one show? This is so much fun, man. Sports Buffet West Pruitt. Got John Sturdivant in the house as for tonight anyway. Next week, John, be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Times to be announced. Not sure on the times yet. I'll have to get back on that. Not 100% sure. But we got the poll questions. Poll questions are doing pretty well. By the way, thank you to everybody watching, listening. Thank you for the support as always. John, any final thoughts, man?
Yeah, let's get this. We're gonna talk about more of it next week, but Stanley Cup, man, I'm looking forward to seeing the Stanley Cup. I'm actually starting tonight, as a matter of fact, as we speak, probably right now. But anxious to see the traveling arrangements, between the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton hockey team. But yeah, he said that's the furthest hockey Stanley Cup in hockey
Ever.
history. 2,000 miles of airline miles, and of course, so many different time zones on top of that. You got to fight, and then the candidate altitude is going to be totally different as well.
Oh
So
yeah.
definitely looking for the Stanley Cup. Definitely looking forward to see how these baseball series, Major League Baseball series, are this weekend because you got the Yankees, Dodgers playing each other. Uh, yeah, some interesting matchups. You got the Rockies who are up and down right now, playing in St. Louis, where St. Louis definitely needs to be in that Central Division and keep on fighting. And you got the Cincinnati Reds playing the Chicago Cubs this weekend down in Cincinnati. So that's another interesting series. Baseball, and then of course the college baseball. Like we brought up, man, like it's gonna be some interesting atmospheres, and hopefully the rain holds off everywhere for the super regionals. They don't have to worry about these 3 to 4 hour rain delays, and then get their schedule rearranged and all that for pitching as well.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. This has been I mean, the sports seasons don't stop. Everybody knows this, right? College football's still going on. There's still college football stories going on. College baseball is going on. The super regionals are happening. So, I mean, we're going to keep this thing rolling year round. Sports Buffet is your one-stop shop for all things sports coverage. And like I've told y'all before, all we're doing is taking the media distribution list content that we have from right here at 4 Star Sports Media, and we're giving that information to you guys. Also, John, you got Live Houston, Live Golf down in Houston too. Started off today. So we'll get into a little bit of Live Golf next week. We'll get into a little bit of NASCAR. We'll get into a little bit of UFL. Don't forget, got UFL Conference Championships coming up. Got UFL Championships on Father's Day. So we'll get into a little UFL next week.
Calling it now, St. Louis wins it all.
Very could very well be. Look at this. We're a week away. This thing's already big. Yeah. We'll get back into. No, you're good. We'll get back into super regional. We'll get back into college football as well. So all that and more next week, right here on the Sports Buffet on the 4 Star Sports Radio Network. For John Sturdivant, I'm Wes Pruitt. Thank you for watching, listening, and as always, have a good evening.